the best. It's a status that every team strives to have, with the exception of 100 Thieves. In Valorant, it is a lot easier said than done, as new players and new teams are popping up what seems like every day, with cracked young guys, knowledgeable old heads, and players that seem to come out of literally nowhere.
It's not gonna go down, it's not gonna go down, time is over!
Oh, it's Trent! Oh my Trent!
There is a bit of a power vacuum in North America because for the first time in over a year, there is no clear best team. Instead, the best in North America are all trying to stake their claim in NA, but among the contenders there is one that no one seems to be talking about. A team leading the meta with star players and international experience, and it's not Cloud9. I'm here to tell you why version 1 is on track, if not already, the best team in North America, and why no one wants to admit it. Let me back it up a bit. Valorant came out in 2020, and as early as 2021, we started seeing some teams stick out ahead of the rest. You have 100 Thieves winning first strike at the end of 2020 and continuing their success into 2021. They placed well at a lot of subsequent tournaments, including making it to the International Masters 3, where they took off some good games. You have Envy, or now Optic, a team that hasn't really won anything, but has been consistently placing at the top, going to 2 international invitations, Masters 3 and Champions, and placing very well in Masters 3, losing just at the end again.
He's just doing the What am I watching? Frag! What am I watching?
Cloud9 is the most recent example of North American dominance, as they have had successful recent results, winning the LCQ, qualifying for Champions, and also placing the best at Champions relative to the other North American teams.
It's done with Cloud9! A North American hope appears, making it out of the groups here.
These teams have all seen significant success in North America, but none of them can claim the title of the best in North America. They all live in the shadow of another team, and I don't think it's hard to figure out who.
Back on the angle, gets taken down by Steel. 15 seconds to go for the plant here. Dapper swings around and he secures it.
A dagger with his name on it, but it's going to be sick. Who's going to get it done? And that's a wrap.
Sentinels, they're gonna get the defuse. They've done it. Sentinels are the Masters 2 Reykjavik champions.
Since the beginning of Valorant competitive, Sentinels have always been a top contender for the best in North America. But with the acquisition of TENS just before the beginning of Masters 1, it launched a team from just a contender to an instant world-level threat. Sentinels went on to win the NA-only Masters 1 and swept through the International Masters 2, not dropping a single map, not game, map. Until their losses in Masters 3, Sentinels had only dropped 3 sets of the 43 they played in that time span, all against top teams in both North America and the world. For context, other contender teams had nowhere near the same level of success. 100 Thieves lost 8 of 27 over the same time period, with 5 losses to Sentinels. Envy lost 10 of 29, with 2 losses to Sentinels, and Cloud9 lost... Okay, well, they weren't very good at the time, so... All this to say that the Sentinels have been a dominant superpower in North America for a long time. However, with a string of poor performances internationally, losing in the quarterfinals of Masters 3 to Envy, and losing to Team Liquid and Crew to not even get out of groups at Champions, this team is not the world-level threat Sentinels we once knew. They've tried to adapt to the new meta by hiring Raucus, a former FaZe player, as their new coach, but they haven't regained their form just yet. Upon the return to NA for the Stage 1 closed pools, they are 2-0, which is good, but they just squeaked out close wins against the 2 lowest seeded teams in their group. Sentinels are once again considered human, and there is a vacuum of power in North America for a new team to come and be the team to beat. The best. Odds say it's gonna be Cloud9 with their star-in-the-making Leaf, flashy IGL vanity, and a solid supporting cast. Cloud9 has had a string of impressive results to make their claim as the best in North America. However, there is another team to consider, a team that has been forgotten to the annals of time, a team that has been to an international, made upsets, but was brushed off as a fluke. A team that is leading the meta currently, has star players, and is putting up video game-like numbers. If you couldn't guess already, that team is version 1.
Oh, big shot onto Penny. Effie's is down. 1v4 now for Xander. He catches up 2. Can he get a little bit more? He takes down Android, but he still needs 2 more because of the revive. He still gets hazed. No idea where he is. Spike is ticking down.
No way! Back through the B wall as well. They can start to slip on through. They've left.
Good trade.
We'll get the res off. Yeah, perfect 1-for-1 trade.
Penny through. Here comes Tex. Tex.
Oh my gosh.
And I believe that they're on track to become the best team in the world. Over Cloud9, over Sentinels, over Envy. Although we are still in the middle of a hotly contested North American circuit right now, where not every team has played head-to-head yet, it is not hard to start seeing the trends of various teams. Of course, Cloud9 is looking the most dominant among North America at the moment. V1, while not looking as dominant, dropping that game to Cloud9, as also a freak loss to Reformed in a Knights tournament. Where it's mattered, version 1 is doing the best. They boast the same record as Cloud9 with an even more dominant round record. But if you take a closer look into the stats and gameplay, there is something in the air about how version 1 approaches Valorant. Statistically, V1 is very strong. They have the highest cast right now alongside The Guard, and in and around the same as Cloud9 and OG. But something interesting happens when you take a look at their assists per round. They are by and large the best at getting the most assists as a team. This is a reoccurring stat that I even saw last time when I took a look at them in my previous video. Now, it's easy to look at things like ADR or ACS as sort of the pinnacle of Valorant stats, oftentimes because that is what's looked at, but it's in these supplementary stats where we start to see V1's dominance. Now, they have a high cast and high APR, that is cool, but what exactly does that mean?
So what this screams to me is discipline. It's almost like we've created a discipline stat. Think of like most teams in the top 10 have like a star player or 2 or 3, right? Even Cryo on Xset, and who is a team that I think plays very like fundamentally sound and correct. Cryo is still taking a lot of 1s because he's Cryo. And while they might be isolated 1s, they might be op 1s, whatever it is, V1's not doing that. Right? V1 is like every single fight when the enemy team's hitting our site, we're going to be ready with the util combo. We're going to be ready to run this protocol and make them fall into these traps or this util. And every fight that we take is off a flash, off a suck. It's advantaged somehow, right? So not only is V1 winning a ton of their fights, but they're also doing it off of each other. And they're forcing that style is the big thing.
We sat down and went through their ascent against Pittsburgh's Knight with the purpose of showing me just a few reasons why version 1 is doing it differently.
This is beautiful. This is actually worthy of watch, I think. It wasn't like the perfect round, but
All off. They're gonna push all the way through. Xander's got himself a nice transition. So he can play this for a long time.
Oh gosh. Oh, Xander 1 drops. How much more can he get? Not able to get the second. His band takes care of him. Scuba's starting to work his way onto the site. He gets the wall up. He wants to fight. Oh, he's expecting the ult. Can they protect it? Whippy, good for one. Celsius takes care of another one as well. And for now, it's going to stay alive, but they've got to push it, and they push it right into Celsius.
This Killjoy ult that's thrown down in mid, it's good for an A split because they can't play the Garden area at all. So the Guard ult goes down and they group cat and they just run it like a normal play. What Xander's doing, Xander's stalling. This is like the bread and butter. Like this is V1. This is the stall setup. He has his smoke. He's isolated this space in front of A main. Right? He smoked off A main. And he smoked his site. So now he has more room to play with on site. He's actually sucked in front of the smoke too. Not a lot of players have discipline like this. He's just sitting in his smoke until he gets an opportunity. Xander gets his smoke pushed, and I've seen Xander get 3 here, but this basically allows them to set up a really nice retake. They have Killjoy ults, and they just like play like normal. But I think a lot of players would fuck this round up by swinging the smoke, playing outside the smoke, playing behind the smoke. Xander just sits in it and waits for like this is a mistake now immediately from Gangsta. It's like, why? like they just lost.
Already, Doug, they're going up to some cheeky things all the way back.
Oh man, surely you get some value out of this, right? Maybe, oh, the flash, the swing, oh, Penny gets it anyway. Effie's does as well. They've gotten value out of the shorties, but how much more can they get? Still,
A very focused attention for Knights over towards their B side. That's twice now that they go for it.
This is the most famous eco strat on Ascent in pro play. Or at least in tier 1 scrims. Every team that we play is running this strat, and it trickles down too. And you start to see some like top tier 2 teams play it, and over time, like everybody's running the same eco. Double shorty backside. That's it. That's all they do. They're trying to prod out and see like, is there a site stack? But it's kind of hard on Ascent because you can be so deep into the site, and then they make a big mistake clearing this like this. like you can't do that. Like you have to util it. This isn't like a V1 round. It's like it's just correct play, right? It's like V1 pick like the highest percentage eco. They run it, it works, and they don't throw anything. They're up 4-on-1, and they're running like infamously. It's like this this, or they're all up along this wall. It's like a screenshot.
They're gonna try to go onto the site anyway, and it's a freaking meat grinder. They walk into the gravity well.
This is a change-up to how V1 normally plays, and I'm not sure if it's an anti-eco thing. They're always falling to backside, right? They play this very high percentage, they fall back, they stall for the rotates come in, bang a flash, bang a molly, whatever, right? They get Astro Util to support, but it's a big stall setup. Now, they're like, let's just fight the front site. Like, if they're coming in, we're gonna just meat grind them in front of, like, in front of B main. And so Knights thinks they can slam the site, and then just like pressure the fuck out of the backside players. And V1 has already adapted to that, and they say, we're like, let's just put like Whippy in a one and done. Whippy's just gonna play a corner, and he's just gonna fight the fuck. Like they think he's gonna get 2, right? Whippy gets 3 because he's nuts. That's very noteworthy. V1 is adapting. They're actually adapting their site holds over the course of the half, right? Whippy has moved from A to B to A to B. Yeah, and they have changed the way that they're actually holding the site.
I've posted some more analysis on my Twitter, so if you're interested in that, go check it out. But the main takeaway is this. Version 1 is becoming an increasingly larger threat in North America, not because of their individual talent, but because of their increasingly refining playstyle revolving around high percentage executes and holds, the likes of which no one else in North America, not even Cloud9, is doing. But if they are this good at the game, how come no one is talking about it? When you have teams like The Guard with a super interesting storyline with their star player Trent coming out of nowhere, or Cloud9 absolutely dominating the international stage, okay, absolutely dominating, just doing better than everyone else, or the storyline of Sentinels falling from grace but slowly climbing their way back, all of these teams have reasons to watch, but version 1 is just kind of there and been winning. They became prevalent during the stage 2 time because of their mastery of the post-plant meta, often looked at as a sort of sleeper way of playing the game. After that, they sort of fell off in terms of the ranking, so people dismissed them once again as just a blip on the radar. Version 1 is not a fan-first team. We see a lot of teams that do cater a lot to their fans with their playstyle, with their team composition, with what they do on social media. Even though we see teams that are struggling like TS700 Thieves, their matches still pull the most viewership. Of course, version 1 has its moments of flash, for example, the game of Penny versus NRG. It is a team effort for version 1. They're absolutely dominating the field, but the lack of ego in their play has led them to kind of be forgotten a bit. While other teams play with peaks and valleys, going from being the best to being subpar, version 1 plays with consistency. A high peak will win you a tournament, but consistency will win you a dynasty. And as always, thank you for watching. Thank you so much for watching the video. This one took me a long time to make. I've been sick. I've been trying to work through school and all this, so thank you for bearing with me as I've been working between videos. Hopefully the next video will be a little less draining and a little less time consuming so I can, get more out. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, if you enjoyed this sort of stat style content, I made another video very similar, trying to generate a stat of the most valuable player. Go check it out if you want to see that. And if you stayed all the way to the video, subscribe. It's cool. It's free. You get a video in your inbox every once in a while. If you like Valorant, there's no sense in not doing it. Finally, if you want to join a Valorant community, consider joining my Discord, where we have a bunch of cool people doing watch parties, talking about the game, talking about the matches that have all been playing. It's super exciting. Get to talk to some players, get to talk to some fans. It's a fun time. Anyways, I gotta head out. Thank you so much again. Peace.